Welcome to the Godly Trading Live Trading Room. It is time to get going. So let's dive into the markets today. It was an interesting day out there, to say the least. Actually, no, before we dive into the markets, let us do our normal routine. Hi, I'm Pepper. This is the Godly Trading Hour, Trading Half Hour. Today was a good day to have read this verse from the book of James. My brethren, count it all joy. All right, not partial joy, not some things joy. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith. Quick question, drop in the chat. Has anyone's faith in what they're doing, the markets, life in general, been tested these last 2 days in trading? Just drop me a yes or a no. Knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. By the way, this is for everybody out there. I want you to write this down, put this on your computer screen. This is the third best trading verse in the world. But let patience have its perfect work. The word perfect means complete. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, right? Finished, lacking nothing. How many of you out there want to be a complete trader, lacking nothing? Give me a yes. Y'all are quiet today. Give me a yes in the chat if you want to be a complete trader, one who isn't lacking in anything, especially in the patience department. I don't know if that chat is working because no one's saying anything. Someone say yes in the chat if you want to be a complete trader. All right, so today was an interesting day, as I mentioned, out there in the market. So real quick, thank you, Mark. Real quick, just look at what happened overall today. This is the NASDAQ. Now, we had this crazy day yesterday, right? We gapped way down and we ran up. I mean, look at today. For all the noise that happened today, we have the world's largest doji. We ran up, we ran down, and we're ending up right there in the middle. This is what can drive you nuts as a trader. You think, oh, we're going this way, and a lot of stuff happens. At the end of the day, nothing happens. This is why we need to exercise patience, even as a day trader. We're going to get into the day trading stuff here in just 1 second. I've been talking a lot lately about mainly the two different strategies that we've got going on. One is called Forest. Forest is a trend trading strategy that looks to get on a pullback. It is as dead simple as it comes. Unless you're talking about Frank. Frank is as dead simple as it comes, but Frank is a momentum strategy. As such, Frank works fairly well. Well, Frank works fantastically. Frank does a fantastic job up on the daily chart, but also works way down on the 5-minute chart. I'm going to show you day trading with Frank here in just a second. Updating you on the trades that we have open right now on my personal prop firm account. It was a good day out there. We had, where are we at? Nope. Yep. So we had fine. It's no longer today. It's tomorrow. I need to show close positions. There we go. So we had 3 trades closed today, which for a swing trading is a pretty big day, including our interminable. Let me just show you that real quick. I keep saying real quick. It's never real quick, is it? The Aussie Swiss trade is finally over with. All right, got in this thing, almost got my take profit, came close, and today we're out. So that one's done. Aussie Kiwi, this was a 1-day trade. You know, again, Frank is built for momentum, and the entire point of it is that, hey, an engulfing candle means that somebody's in charge. Somebody's so much in charge that they completely stomped over whatever the other ones were doing the day before. Let's call it, in this case, the buyers. The buyers on this engulfing candle had to prove that they were in charge, and they were. And boy howdy, as my relative would have said, in and out in 1 day. That's a pretty good swing trade, as opposed to Aussie Swiss, which we've been in since February the 9th. And then Pound Aussie, same scenario, in and out in 1 day. Really good swing trade. You know, when you go into swing trading, you don't do, no, I said day trading. We're going to get there. Just give me a second. I want to show you what we actually have, transparency and all that. trades that I have open on my account right now. Swing trading is a different mindset, and it's one that you're there to buy back your time. And so you don't often expect a swing trade to get in and out in this one day, but it did. All right. Also, I did have that Verizon trade open, and I got out of it. Again, Frank is built for momentum. Once you see momentum die like this, then you shouldn't be in the trade. So I got out of the trade. Could this go up, continue on the upside? Yeah, it could, but I think we mentioned yesterday that one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard when it came to trading is have a reason to get into a trade and look to get out of the trade when that reason goes away. And so here on Frank and Verizon, my reason was upward momentum. That reason went away. So I got out. And as a result, I got out at probably got out right here at the bottom. So about half of a full take profit. Do you have Isaac's trading room? I did, and I swear I sent it to Zach. I didn't send it to you. I am so sorry. Yes, I will not post it here, but I'm going to open up my Mark. Do I have your email address? I sincerely hope I have your email address. I should have your email address. I'm going to open up a message right now. Let's see. Mark Hall. There we go. All right. I'm going to send you Isaac's email address as soon as this live stream is over with. Interesting day out there. So before we leave swing trading and head over to the wide and woolly world of day trading, let me just show you what we've got on tap for signals using Frank. So right now on gold, we have a signal to go long on gold today. Remember what I said about being careful to when you send your orders. It's close to the end of the day. I would wait for 5 o'clock Central to send this order, and I will wait for 5 o'clock Central to send this order. So we have a signal to go long on gold, and I think that's it. On Forex over here on stocks, we had one Charles Schwab. We got a signal to go short on Charles Schwab. So we got those two Frank setups there. Now, day trading. Let me show you. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I keep teasing you and then backing away. This is the live account. So we're in these four trades. I'm sorry. These are the three trades that exited today. As you can see there, that's roughly 0.5% that I'm risking. $50 without going over. That's the $50 is the 0.5% the risk that I'm doing. And I have these three open positions here: Aussie yen, Euro yen, and you can see one of them is dead break even, and one of them is halfway to take profit, and one of them's not really moving much. Overall, the strategy is doing pretty well. We peaked at about 6%. We pulled back a little bit, but we're back up at 5% again, and I'm okay with that. Everything is going to go in peaks and valleys, even your equity curve, your balance, your return. I actually, over on one of my strategies, I actually put a moving average on my return. And what that does for me, and I have to show this sometime, what that does for me is it prepares me mentally. Say, hey, we are well above the moving average. Chances are there's a losing streak, or some losses are coming up ahead. Or, hey, we are well below the moving average. Good news is it's probably going to turn itself around. Overall, Frank on the daily chart is still giving us just under a 70% win rate, which will make you feel really good. And then this is Forest. I don't know if I'll get into Forest today because I promised you guys I would show you Frank. This is my actual swing. This is my actual prop firm account with Forest. I don't have time. I may have time to do that. Let me finally fulfill the promise of the thumbnail and show you day trading. So when we look at NQ, all right, okay, we started the day off looking at NQ. It was a whole lot of nothing today. There's a whole lot of something that ended up with a whole lot of nothing. Well, let's dive down to the 5-minute chart. Remember what I said. You might remember what I said yesterday when it comes to the two different mindsets of trading. You've got up on the daily chart, you've got trend trading, and you've also got momentum trading and counter. You've got trend and counter trend and momentum. Those are basically the three ways that someone can trade. What's the trend doing? Let me go with it. What's the trend doing? Let me fade it, as they say, or let me go against it. And I don't really care what trend is doing. What's price doing right now? So the higher in time frame you go, and for me, honestly, it's anything beyond 30 minutes, the 30-minute chart. And the 30-minute chart is sort of the cutoff. Because you're looking at it, the trade's probably going to last 4 or 5 candles. At that point, you're looking at a quarter of a third of a day. The higher, the longer that trade lasts, the more the gravity of the daily trend is going to pull on price. BlackRock and the Bank of England, as I always say, are the ones who are driving that price. But we can get away from that by going really low in time frame. Doing that, we don't worry about the daily trend. We want to know what's momentum doing. And that's where Frank comes in. I've explained it a couple of times. I'll explain it again right now. The entire purpose of Frank is to show you where there's momentum happening, show you where essentially you had a reversal. So, for instance, here's a signal on the NQ that happened at 1420. What is that? 220? Yeah. So this was about an hour and 20 minutes ago. We had a signal on Frank on the 5-minute chart for the NQ, which is the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. And price was kind of just going nowhere. The moving average dove down below it. And then the buyers tried to push price up. And they had this candle here where they were really, really thinking, hey, you know what? We're kind of in control. We think we know what we're doing. And then the sellers came in, and the sellers not only undid all of the work that the buyers had done, they owe it. So they completely, it's an engulfing candle. That's what it means. And that just shows you momentum. So if you were to trade that candle, let me see, the entry would have been down here. That is 260. And what we'd have gotten 250, 256. So we would still be in this trade short. We would have gotten, probably would have covered some profit there. Look back here. This was at 11 o'clock this morning. We would have gotten in here, and that was, well, we probably would have come to the bottom of that one, which is 189, and definitely would have gotten that one. That one would have been a 2-to-1 trade. This is an interesting case right here. You think, okay, well, here's an engulfing candle. This engulfed that. We're heading up, and look what happened. Well, that is the beauty of the, you got the logic behind the concept, and then you got the logic behind the execution. So the concept says, hey, we want momentum. We want these buyers in this case, and we want sorry, question has thrown me off here. We want the buyers to be taken over and continue past what we're doing. Well, in this case, buyers took over from that candle, but they failed. But that's where you go to the next step, which is the logic of the execution, which says, hey, I'm not getting in here. I'm getting in at the top. I want the buyers to prove that they are still in charge. Well, they didn't. So this is a signal that would not have been triggered. This, you would have had your entry here. One candle comes and goes, and it's over with. The trade expires. I get this a lot. What is godly trading? Many people claim that trading isn't godly because it is stealing. Can you say just a few words? The one I hear most often is that trading is gambling. And the answer to that is that gamblers gamble. Just how, although I don't drink alcohol, there are millions of people who drink alcohol without being an alcoholic, even though the defining characteristic of an alcoholic is someone who drinks alcohol. You can drink alcohol and not be an alcoholic. You can participate in an activity that a gambler gambles with and not be a gambler. Look, trading is just simply this. I went to the store and I bought an iPhone on sale. And I walked outside and said, hey, you want to buy an iPhone? $10 more than I bought it for. And that's it. That's all trading is. You're exchanging one thing for another. And this is one of the reasons I like Forex, because if you've ever flown internationally, there's going to be a kiosk, looks like an ATM, in an airport. And you walk over to it and you stick your dollar bills in. Let's say you're in the Heathrow Airport in London. You stick all your dollars into it and it spits pounds back at you, right? That's all Forex is. You're saying, hey, I got some yen. Bzz, oh, fantastic. I got some euros now. That's all it is. exchange one thing for the other. I will get to this in 1 second. So I just wanted to show you here's a signal right here to go long. And that would have been, 2-to-1 trade. Signal to go short. That would have been a 1-to-1 trade. We had a pre-market one here. That one may have been probably would not have been a winner. But here's what, again, know the logic of your system. My system says, number one, if the next candle after I get in goes against me, I'm out. Why? Because I'm looking for momentum. If momentum dies, I get out. Have a reason to get in a trade and look to get out of the trade if that reason goes away. So in the case of this trade here, I would have been out at this point because the reason I got in is gone. Plus, once this thing, I don't know what just happened. I turned Frank off apparently. Once this, hang on, wrong Frank, not Frank 3.1, Frank 3.4. Or I just deleted Frank off my chart. Hey, can I go back? Back. Yes, fantastic. All right, so I would have been out when this thing turned. So have a reason to get out of a trade. And then look, this real quick. Let's just go down to the other thing. I like trading 3 things in the morning. For those of you who've asked, we are day 2 of our beta test of our Godly Trading morning day trading live trading room. We're doing this in our Discord channel, but we're still testing out things. So we're not yet ready for public consumption. But in the mornings, I like to look at NASDAQ, gold, and oil. And I'm going to show you, I just showed you NASDAQ. Here's gold from this morning. Make sure I'm not drawing on the screen. By the way, here's one. Boom. There's another one. We'd still be in that trade. This one would not have triggered. This one would have triggered, and you probably got what you were looking for. It would have been close, but you probably got what you were looking for as a 1-to-1 trade. I go 1-to-1 right now. This one definitely would have been a loss. Okay. No harm, no foul. This one would have been a loss. That one would have not triggered, and may have triggered, would have been a loss. So gold this morning would have been about 50-50. Oil. Oh, there was a fantastic setup on oil. Earl right here. This was at 9 o'clock this morning. Look at that. That thing was, talk about momentum, right? So prices just sort of slide, tries to go up and then just falls off a cliff. That would have been it would have been 20. So we'd have had a 24. That would have been a 5-6-to-1 trade right there. You asked, what is the right mindset to sitting out of the market? That leads me to this. We've got a webinar coming up this weekend. Friday, right at lunch. And the whole point of this is if you're struggling with consistency and don't have a clear idea on what you're doing, I'm going to show you how to create a system that you can trade with clarity and trust and discipline. And it gives you back your time. And part of that is doing what James says, letting patience have its complete work in you, which is just another way of saying, have a plan and don't do anything unless the plan says to do something. And I know it's difficult. We're going to go through all that this Friday. Go to godlytrading.com, free class, sign up, end of promo. So oil and silver, I didn't look at silver at all. That one would have triggered, that would have been a loss. Some are better than others. Here's one that would have worked. Here's one that wouldn't have triggered. Here's one that would have worked. So again, look at your reason behind why you're trading what you're trading. So many people that I come across, and we're going to talk about this on Friday. So many people I've come across say, hey, what do you trade? Well, I trade, almost all of them say, I trade NASDAQ futures on the 15-minute candle, 5-minute candle. Why is that? Well, I just sort of found this thing, and that's what I'm doing. Have a specific reason for doing what it is you're doing. Whether it's your time of day, whether it's your market, especially your strategy, and make sure you fully understand not only why you're doing what you're doing, why is your strategy doing what it's doing? Which is why I really like the juxtaposition. Well, there's a big word I haven't used all week. I like the juxtaposition between Frank and Forrest. Forrest says, hey, there's a trend happening. I love this. I want to get in on this trend, but I'm buying on sale. I'm not getting in at a high. I'm going to wait for something to go on sale. In other words, I'm getting on a pullback. Frank says, hey, there was a trend. It's kind of petered out. And now I have this initial glimpse of the trend resuming because of momentum. And that's where I'm getting in. That's where I'm making that's where I'm living. Forrest is like, hey, I'm waiting for something to go on sale. And he waits and he waits. He goes, okay, yeah, that's good enough, right? 10% off. That's good enough for me. Frank says, I want to wait until I see that they've got that sign out front that says everything must go. And that's when I'm getting in there. Mark asks, does it only trigger if overall movement is in the direction of the trade? Yes, absolutely. And that is the Paulie says, took 3 wins today on Frank's strategy. That is one of the things I like. Frank waits for confirmation. And not that I don't love Forrest. I've had a good day on Forrest today on my hang on, let me show you. This is I'm actually in one of those gold trades right now where momentum has died. I'm actually in Forrest. Well, how many am I in? I don't know, 8 or 9. The whole point of Forrest that says we're going to pick a spot and get in, and chances are price is going to continue going against us when we get in because we're getting in as it's moving the opposite direction. Frank says, I refuse to do that. I'm only going, where's that oil trade? Frank says, I'm only going to get in. Let's see if I can make this big enough where all of you can see it. All right, so think about what was happening on oil right about this time. By the way, NASDAQ and oil are both very news driven. Bear that in mind. And don't take my word for any of these things. Test them for yourself. Luke, in the book of Acts, said that the Bereans were more noble than the Thessalonians, or possibly the other way around, because they tested everything Paul said. Hey, don't just take my word for it. Go test me. And they did. Test this thing out. Build your own custom rules for Frank. But anyway, the whole point of Frank is it says price is doing this. Price is sort of coming down, and yeah. And then it tried to do this. By the way, you'll notice the whole moving average is what held it. It tried to go up, and then boom, we had this big candle. And the sellers are like, no. Not today. We're not going higher today. We're taking over. We're driving price down. As a matter of fact, all you buyers from 9:05 this morning, we're going to undo all of your hard work. And then Frank comes along and says, okay, sellers, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Here's the thing, though. I don't trust you just yet. You did some good work. I appreciate that. You did some good work. But I want an extra layer of confirmation that you really are in charge. Because I don't want these buyers to come behind you and say, oh, no, we're going to undo all the work that you did, right? So what Frank does, it says, in order for me to get in this trade, in order for me to like what you just did, I'm getting in at the low of today, of the candle that you asserted yourself in. Prove to me that you can make price go from here through that and continue on down to this direction. You've got to prove to me first. So that's the beauty of this strategy, is it gives you a little bit of confirmation. So okay, hey, I'm not getting in as soon as the candle's over with. I'm waiting for those sellers to say, hey guys, we're still in charge. We can do this. Because you see so often, how do I delete? You see so often, let me find another, like right here. Let me zoom in without drawing on my chart. All right, the sellers said, hey, we got this. Oh, we don't got this. And so, I mean, this one probably would have triggered, but it may not. Here's another one. The buyer's like, hey, we got this. No, we don't got that. So what you want, and there were some good examples over on the NQ, I think, of where we had the signal, but we didn't get in. Let me try to find that for y'all. This was one right here. All right, so, this is it. Right here. And Mark, if this answers your question, fantastic. If it doesn't, let me know. Because often I just ramble and don't answer questions. So the buyers are like, we can do it. We can do it. And so you say, okay, buyers, I hear what you're saying. I think you could probably do it. Now, I'm not thrilled by the fact that you're, going going that way. But if I'm going to take this trade, I'm not getting in until you match the high of what you just did. There's my trade set up right there. So prove to me that you can replicate all that hard work that you did for these last 5 minutes. And they couldn't. All right. Price closed here, opened here, and then boom, everything just fell away. So that is the extra level of making you feel good, right? Extra level of confirmation that Frank affords you is, hey, there's this scenario in which if it's not going to work out, I don't even get in the trade. No harm, no foul. If anybody would like, I'm going to say this and Mark's going to be like, where's Frank Jr.? Or maybe that was Zach that was asking for it. If anybody would like a copy of the Frank strategy, I'm reasonably sure that I've got the godlytrading.com/Frank. Yes, I've got this automated setup now. So if you drop your email in there, it spits the thing over to you. I'm 12% sure that's working. And I'm working on Forrest, and I'm working on Frank Jr. I've got a lot of work to do. But anyway, so Frank being a momentum, yes, I know. It's on. Look, hey, next week I'm on a cruise. I got nothing to do but write and live stream. So, Mark, if I have not given you Frank Jr. and Forrest, by next week, you have my permission to track me down in the middle of the Gulf of whatever and throw me overboard. And with that, I just completely lost my train of thought. Long and the short of it is, don't try to force one strategy to act like another. If you want to day trade, don't worry about daily trend. For heaven's sakes, if you're going against the daily trend, get out before your trade lasts more than 2 or 3 hours, because your daily trend's a giant black hole sucking you in that direction. If you're going to swing trade, momentum is good, but trend is better. So just have your reason. Pick your reason. Make sure that your style, your strategy, all of those things fit you. Again, not to continue to plug our free webinar on Friday. That's what we're talking about. Finding a way to make your system fit you, so that you know what you're doing, know what it's doing. And by the way, as a last minute parting gift here, whatever you do, make it as simple as possible. I heard this story from Jerry Seinfeld, which I didn't realize that comedians worked this hard on crafting jokes. He said he'll have a joke that he writes down, and he'll go out to a club and test it. And then he'll go back to his room and he'll take a word out and go back to a club and test it. Come back to his room, take a word out. He keeps doing it over and over, removing one word at a time until he delivers the joke and it falls flat. And he knows, aha, that last word was critical. Puts it back in, and now he has the perfect joke, the most efficient way to say what he's trying to say. The same thing with your system. Take your system. Take anybody's system. Build it yourself. Customize it yourself. Buy, borrow, copy from someone else. Write it all down and say, hey, here's all of it. I need to be emphatic here, so I'm going to go to the screen. Here's all of it. Let me take a piece out. Does it still work? Does it still work just as good? Does it still work better? Okay, fine. I don't need that. Take another piece out, and another piece out, and another piece out. And over the course of my trading career, when I first started, my screen was like, oh my goodness, it just drove you nuts. Flashing lights everywhere. I thought that the more complicated it was, somehow it was inherently better. Simplify. Our God is not a God of confusion. Our God is a God of simple instructions. And I think that's what he wants for us as Christian traders. So with that, guys, I have run up against my hard out. If you need anything, let me know. There's the button at the top of the main page. Book a call. You can get with me for any reason for free. With that, I will see you guys tomorrow.